So I've got this dirty old Oreck that needs some work. Got a couple cords here. This one is going to be the one that I use to replace the cord that it needs on the back, or this one is. I think this one was. I can't remember. Anyways, so it's got an issue. The tweakers cut the cord off of this, both of them. The one that goes from the motor to the handle, which was the old style. You can see that plugs into the bottom of the handle there. Not Oreck's best design. They had a lot of issues with these back in the day. They didn't keep this design around too long. But of course, the other cord that goes into the handle, or comes out of it rather, is missing. Tweakers cut it off. So we're gonna fix this thing. The first thing we're gonna do is get it onto its back like this. And we're gonna get inside and redo the cord here, go from there. These machines are pretty easy to service and get into. To remove the bottom plate, all you have to do is just remove these screws. These are all just simple Phillips screws. Just have to do that. Take it off just like so. It's actually in pretty good condition in here. Belt needs to be replaced, of course. That's pretty standard. But the brush roll, we'll replace that. First thing we got to do is take the little cord deal out of here. Save this because we're going to need it for the replacement cord. So to make it a little bit easier to access this, we'll take the motor out because we got to do that anyways. Now, somebody's already been into this machine once. And I know that because there's supposed to be a screw that goes right here that holds this little duct in. So we're going to take this duct out as well. There we go. Now we need to get the fan chamber apart because I'm just going to pull the whole motor out. Well, there we go. And it's a good thing we're taking this out because you can see this wire has been pinched. Somebody's been into this before and moved the motor around a bit. So we definitely need to address this, and it's good we're going this far into it. That's a safety issue. So I was able to squeeze the hell out of this cord retainer and push it through just like that. It's not easy. But this one's actually been, it's pretty old, unfortunately. So I've got the replacement cord set up. I'm just going to put on some connectors and we'll be ready to fish it through. Get this situated where it needs to go and connect it all to the motor and be done with this part. There we go. Now just to do the black wire. There you go. So now we can just did the black wire. So now all we're going to do is just put it all back together. Go from there. I've got the retainer about where it was on the old cord. You can see it was going in like that. So there's about that much of the shielding coming off of it. So what we're going to do is just kind of line it up. And press it down. There we go. Back in place just like it should be. So everything's been reinstalled. I was very careful with the routing of the wires. You can see it's going around here on this side of the motor. Everything's going around underneath it. None of these are being pinched. So when I go to reinstall everything or put the plate back on, we'll be okay. Found a screw out of the hoard to put into the duct. That's good. So now I just have to blow all this out with my air compressor. We'll pull this brush roll out just to clean it up a bit, but I am going to replace that. Yeah, we need to clean up in here. Cleaned up the brush roll on my bench grinder with a wire wheel attached to it. Got pretty much everything off of it. So like I said, this brush roll needs to be replaced. It's the old version, so there's really no point in keeping it. So in this instance, what we're gonna do is change the ends here. You'll see it's got old and new, so we'll put old in like this, so it brings the brushes closer to the floor. That's what you do with an old brush on one of these Orecks. You can see it's got the two nubs there, so make sure they're the same. Now with these housings, they all like to kind of tweak up a little bit as they age, and this one's not really that bad. A little bit of wobble here. So what I'm going to do is just take the edge of a zip tie, shove that in, lop her off. Yep, much better. So let's see if this belt is still good. Surprisingly it is, so we'll just go ahead and use it. Now, replacing a belt on an Oreck can be annoying, but what you want to do is, if you're doing it through the bottom like I am, just loop it around the motor shaft, and then you're going to grab the end and kind of force it onto the roller and roll the brush roller and try not to let it pop out on you. Then just roll it onto the shaft and the brush roll. There you go. So before we do this, we'll just make sure that none of these wires are in the way of the screws, screw posts. All the way down to the #1 torque setting. Squeegee's still in really good condition. Amazingly, the ingest bars are gone. There's supposed to be ingest bars here that prevent you from sucking the cord up. Those are, you know what, I don't know if this model even had those, because I'm not seeing any posts for them on the inside of this, so maybe it never had it. So with this cord, I gave us quite a bit of slack, so all we got to do is just wire it into the new handle and go on with that. So we're going to start pulling this handle off. You guys will see very quickly that the new handle is going to go on just so there is some stuff here that is important. The first one you have to remember, this is the harness for the old cord. This is the ground. This is also important. This one should have one of these. If not, most likely we will be able to use the one that's on it. Take this apart just to see what's included. Yep. So unfortunately, You can't reuse the ground. That's okay though. But we can see it goes in just like that. So I've got everything kind of laid out here, and it's not really going to be too big of a deal here, but I'm just going to prep these and we're just going to solder them. This is what it looks like. Got everything all wired up. Cut this. Left a little too much slack in that. Got a little too far ahead of myself and just soldered it on up to the brown wire. Should have just cut off a little bit more of the wire on this side, but that's all right. It's not going to hurt nothing being like that. And I just have to get the top part of the handle, put that on. All put back together, went in perfect. Now I just have to slip the switch back in through. There we go. All right, so it's all put back together. Just have to put a new bag in it. It looks like we have another problem, which isn't hard to fix. People normally suck up all kinds of crap with these and it clogs up. This is probably why they got rid of this machine. Yep, we've got a clog in there. Clogs are probably one of the easiest fixes you can do with a vacuum, but ironically, they're one of the most common reasons why people throw a vacuum away. That or a broken belt. The majority of these vacuums that I pick up off the curb, like this one, are in really, really good condition, but they have some stupid issue that's wrong with them that people just can't be bothered to fix, no matter how simple it is. And so they go out and buy a brand new machine. In this case, they probably went and bought a bagless junky vacuum. So we're just gonna slip this one on. And unfortunately, these older models don't have the fancy bag dock that the newer ones have, but this will be good enough just for testing purposes. But these older Orecks, these bag docks work okay for the most part. You want to get rid of these bags once they get about 2/3 full, and they tell you right here when you want to get rid of them. I've seen some people that I've picked up these machines from, and the bag is just like it looks like a bag of Quikrete. You don't want your bag to get that full. You want to change it. And these Oreck bags are very cheap. You can buy them in bulk. You can buy Hepa ones in bulk. And they're not expensive at all. Got the sacrificial Afghan rug. Plugged it in. Let's try it out. Motor sounds really healthy. I've always had a soft spot for these vacuums for years. They're just so easy to work on and get running again. Parts are so cheap for them. Honestly, this vacuum's got a lot more life left in it. One of the main benefits of their simplicity is really that they just last and last, and if anything breaks on them, they're stupid easy to fix. All right, so I've got the machine home. I just undid all 5 of these screws. And we've got the replacement brush roll, Amazon special. These come with a bunch of new belt. It's so weird you can't find a OEM brush roll for these machines unless you buy it straight from Oreck's website. Then you know it's going to be OEM. But trying to find an OEM brush roll off eBay or Amazon, they're all going to be these generic brush rolls, which they're not bad quality. It's full wood, just like the normal one. But we're just going to take this out. And if you'll remember, we have that piece of the zip tie. But both of these, trash. So what I'm going to do now is it has, just like the other one, it's got new and old on it, so the ridges are new. And you can see there's still that little bit of slop there. So zip tie. There we go. No more slop. New belt. So with that in, we install the bottom plate. Replacement belt down there where it's supposed to go. All plugged in.